I'm so blindsided. I can't believe this happened to me. It feels like I'm living a nightmare that won't end. I am standing in the wreckage of what I thought was the perfect life, looking back at how a girl I loved more than anything could be so heartless. It was love at first sight. The first day of high school, we were 16. I couldn't stop thinking about her. It was affecting my grades. I tried to reach out to her so many times. I followed her to her car. I left notes for her. I tried to be close every chance I got. She always ignored me. My name is Sarah, and I'm 21 years old. I'm telling you this story from the perspective of my ex-boyfriend because that is how he sees the world. He truly believes he is the victim. For years, I was the girl in this story, living under the thumb of a boy who thought love meant ownership. I am writing this down now because it is the only way I can breathe. I still wake up in cold sweats. He ruined my mental peace and my sense of security. Do you know what it's like to have someone try to rewrite your reality? Subscribe to this community. Drop your story below. You are not alone. Let's look at the truth together. Click hype if you're ready to hear how a perfect love was actually a prison. I finally built up the courage to send her a follow request. When she accepted, I was over the moon. We started talking and I immediately confessed my love. She was skeptical. She said I couldn't possibly be in love with her without even getting to know her. I told her that this is what love at first sight is. For the next few days, I kept trying to get her to give me a chance. She kept saying no. I pushed a little harder. Then she told me she was already pursuing someone else. That was a punch to my gut. I acted like everything was good. I didn't text her for 2 days, but in the end, I'd had enough. It was too big of a heartbreak. I decided my life wasn't worth living. I texted her a photo of the suicide note I had written. I clearly mentioned that the cause was her repeated rejection. I also showed her a knife. She immediately called me. She told me that she loves me now and told me not to do it. It totally wasn't because she was 16 and scared of getting framed for my death. We started our relationship. To make sure she was all mine, I filled her crush's head with filth about her. She was pretty sad, but I told her not to be. I told her she only needs me now. I also gave her my social media. She wasn't accepting it, but I made her take it. Then I asked for hers in return. She was hesitant, but eventually she handed over all her passwords. A month into it, I started asking her to consummate our relationship. She wanted to save herself from marriage, but I told her I'm the one she's going to marry. I told her it would be a shame if she upset her future husband. She said it was a big decision because once we did it, she would be spiritually bound to me. I told her that's perfect, why wait? She kept saying no, but I sent her a photo of my suicide note again. She finally agreed. I remember how much she was crying when we did it the first time. Then she asked me to leave. I was so angry, but she eventually came around. She didn't cry as often after that. We mutually decided to keep our relationship a secret until we were old enough to get married. We'd pretended we didn't know each other at school. I still followed her around. Her friends called me a creep, but she always defended me. I used her social media to pretend to be her. I sent those friends some choice words and broke her friendships. Good riddance. She didn't deserve to be around those toxic people. It was such a good relationship. She trusted me so much. She wouldn't say a word as I quietly unfollowed and removed all the people I didn't want on her account. But one day, about 5 months in, I randomly scrolled up to read her old chats. I was met with absolute filth. She had been flirting and even sexting with so many guys. I was throwing up and crying. Those chats were about 3 months before I had first texted her. I couldn't believe what a slut she was before meeting me. I wouldn't have painted her if I'd known that. I didn't say anything at first. I just took screenshots of all the chats in case she deleted them. I pretended everything was normal, but we started fighting more often. Every little thing she did was triggering me. I would let things slip. I called her a slut. I told her no one can tell what filth she is hiding behind that pretty face. She always acted confused. She asked me to elaborate. I told her she knows what I'm talking about. She always bickered with me, which I found so disrespectful.
One day, I'd had enough. I called her every name in the book and sent her all the screenshots. She had the audacity to tell me that if she were planning on hiding them, she would have deleted them before giving me her passwords. I know she's lying. She was emotionally attached to those texts. That's why she didn't delete them. She was just hoping I wouldn't go through her messages.
She tried to convince me that since these things happened before we met, they didn't matter. I shut that down real quick. If a woman can sext with random men, it means she doesn't respect her future husband. That was our first big fight. I yelled at her for a week straight. Her eyes were bloodshot from crying so much. Eventually, I told her I'd forgive her, but she had to earn my trust. We still fought after that, but I always shut her down. I told her she had no right to defend herself after what she did. She stopped bickering. It was a smart move. Now I'd only yell for a few hours before we went back to being a lovey-dovey couple again. I was glad I had that leverage. Our relationship was the healthiest it had ever been. Everything I did was because I loved her. I forbade her from watching TV because it would corrupt her mind. She was so sad. I wasn't a monster, so I caved. We reached an agreement. She couldn't watch films, but I would watch them and tell her the plot. It worked best because I could manipulate the plot. I skipped the inappropriate details she didn't need to know. We were both happy. All her male friends were gone. She had a few female friends, but I was trying to get them out too. She didn't need friends when she had me. Sometimes I made her do sexual acts she hated. She claimed they were painful. She always ruined the experience by crying. I hated having to listen to her sobs. I told her she needs to get over the crying. She always apologized for ruining it for me. Eventually, I got bored. I wanted something new. I asked her to ask a female friend to join us. She asked me to ask a male friend instead. That was a line crossed. I was so angry she thought I was going to harm her. I wouldn't do that, I'm not a monster. But she disrespected me. She eventually broke off with all her female friends too. I think she did it out of spite, so I wouldn't make her ask them. Her mom found out about us and tried to force a breakup, but she knew better. She fought with her family. I was her only true savior. It was just me and her. My mom found out too. At first she was angry because she thought the girl was trying to steal her son. Then she started liking her. At the end of the year, we took an entrance test. She failed. I passed. I got into a good college. After I was done screaming at her for failing, I offered to help her study. I made a 1-year schedule. I made sure she followed it. I would call her and then mute my end. I wanted to keep tabs on the background noise to make sure there were no distractions. I told her I liked feeling like she was there with me. She asked me to unmute myself, but that was a breach of my privacy. I made excuses. I told her I was in the toilet or eating. Every once in a while, she would test my patience by muting herself too. I gave her an earful for trying to get back at me. Her excuses are bullshit. Who uses a toilet for 2 whole minutes? Liar. As the year went by, she got stressed about the exam. I forbade her from going on family trips. She had to fight her family to stay home and study. She claimed she was burnt out. She told me she couldn't do it anymore. I told her the only reason I'm making her study is so she can spend college with me. It wasn't about a career. I wouldn't want her working after marriage. I want a traditional homemaker to raise our kids and take care of my parents. She said she didn't want kids, but I knew I'd change her mind. After studying for a year, she took the test again. She fucked it up again. I ripped into her. I told her she was worthless. If she had gotten 1 more mark, she would have been in my college. She got into another college. I told her to quit and study again, but her parents didn't let her. I hated them. I told her once we get married, we will go no contact with them. We couldn't meet every day. I couldn't keep an eye on her. My mom gave her a talk. She told her to learn to cook and clean because I love to eat. Mom taught her to compromise. She taught her to be a submissive wife. A few days before college started, I gave her a rule book I wrote. I made her promise to follow the rules for her own safety. No skirts, no social media profile photo, no makeup, hair always tied up, never talk to a male colleague. If a guy joins your table, leave immediately. No parties, no theater. Backstage work was permitted but not encouraged. It was all reasonable stuff. I was so wrong.
She didn't follow them. I used to make her do my assignments because I was a busy man. I had video games to play and colleagues to see. She happily made them. I made her buy the sheets. I even made her steal cash from her mom because I needed it more. To keep her from getting cocky, I criticized her work. I told her she cheaped out on the paper. I told her her handwriting sucks. She never complained, but the first week of college, she refused to do my assignment. She said she had her own. I knew letting her go to college was a mistake. It all went downhill.
She started coming home 20 minutes late. I called her out. She told me to get fucked. I was appalled. There was one boy she took an interest in. I got a text from him on her social media. I immediately knew they were sleeping around. I called her out. She laughed. She said it was the first time he texted. I didn't believe her. It was an elaborate plan. When she realized I was serious, she called me delusional. I knew she was cheating because I was spiritually connected to her. All her fake evidence pointed to her being innocent. I got my friends to keep an eye on her. I asked her why she was on the 3rd floor when her class was on the 1st. She said she was paranoid because I was always watching. I fished out the boy's number. I called him and threatened him. I told him he corrupted her. He told me he would continue sleeping with her and let his friends do it too. My heart dropped. The next few months were hell. I kept crying. I told her to let me save her from these animals. She said there was nothing sexual happening. I told her I could see it on her face. She looked exhausted. She told me it was my fault. She said it was ruining her mental health. I knew why she was doing it. She hadn't had an outside connection for 2 years. She was using her body to get with these people. I sent the breakup text to her friend while pretending to be her. He knew it wasn't her style. I tried to force her to write it herself. She wouldn't. She said if she wanted to break the friendship, she would just dip quietly. That was heartbreaking. Why did she care about his feelings? Every day I called her and yelled her hours. I lost all respect for her. I told her she wasn't worth marrying anymore, but I had invested so much. I told her I was willing to marry her if she admitted to everything and promised to move forward. My mom even agreed to buy us tickets to move across the country so we could start over. But she kept crying. She said she never cheated. She said she couldn't leave her family. I was disappointed. She said she would forget everything, but she wouldn't admit to cheating. I told her that was the end. The relationship would be built on lies. She said, so be it. She told me we were over. She had the audacity to say she had been broken up with me for a year. I remember her saying we were broken up, but I always replied, no, we're not. I thought she was being dramatic. I never knew she was so heartless. After begging her for hours, she finally went cold. She said, yes, I cheated on you with so-and-so. Do what you want. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. She told the truth. I told her going forward I would need more control. I told her I couldn't trust her. She had to wear a veil. She had to quit her education and move with me. She told me there was no going forward. She said she was leaving for good. I told her she was being dramatic. I reminded her of everything I did for her. I taught her. I had a right to her. She belongs to me. She said she couldn't leave her life behind. I told her she has no right to demand rights after the sin of infidelity. I told her she can't choose both the world and me. And you know what she did? She chose the world over me. I was shattered. I tried to contact her for months. I stood outside her house. I demanded her mom let me see her. Her mom threatened to call the cops. I called from new numbers. She started handing the phone to a friend. He would tell me they were busy having orgies. They would laugh to mock me. I lost track of what was real. It was the worst year of my life. And now she's living her best life with that boy. I did not deserve it. I gave her everything. How could she be so heartless? Nature is cruel. I get nothing and she gets everything. It all sounds absurd, doesn't it? It did to me, too. The truth is, I'm the girl in the story. I'm 21 now, and even though it's been years, I still wake up in cold sweats. He ruined my mental peace and my sense of security. He really thought he was the hero of this story while he was destroying my life. Writing this down is the only thing I can do right now. I might delete it later, but for now, the truth is finally out there. If you've ever seen a narcissist try to charm their way out of the truth, you know how satisfying it is when the mask finally slips. Have you ever had to protect your children from a toxic family member? Tell me your story in the comments. Subscribe to join our community of people who choose truth over charm. Click hype to help this story find someone who needs the courage to speak up. Standing up for yourself is tough. If you've been there, subscribe and become part of our community. Let me know the story helped by clicking hype and tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Would you like me to write a script about a secret inheritance next?